Today we'll talk about the deadliest foods in human history. Have you ever tried anything that was delicious, but made you wonder whether it might be a little dangerous? Well, here's the top 8 of world's most strange and unusual foods available. Those that have an incredible backstory. Number 1. Lead poison Rome, ancient Rome. Alright, now gather round, folks, because we're taking a trip back to ancient Rome. Now, these Romans had a thing for making their wine taste sweeter. That sounds cool, huh? But here's the wild part. They spiced it up with lead. Yeah, you heard me right. Lead. So, imagine you're at a toga party, having a blast, and every sip you take is like playing a toxic game of Russian roulette. These Romans, all dressed up, sipping away, had no clue their favorite drink was secretly playing with danger. As they enjoyed their sweetened wine, they had no idea this seemingly harmless tradition was a setup for health problems. That lead, which should never be near anything we drink, caused all kinds of trouble over time, especially in their stomachs and nervous systems. Talk about a party with some serious consequences. Number 2. Arsenic-laced green dye, 19th century. And let's travel back to the 19th century, where food and fashion took an unexpectedly risky turn. Back then, they prepared a fancy feast with tables full of the brightest green goodies you've ever laid eyes on. But here's the twist. The folks digging in had no clue about the hidden danger behind that alluring green color. It's arsenic. Yep, in their pursuit of tasty and visually pleasing meals, they unwittingly added a dangerous element to the mix. In the 1800s, chefs were turning cooking into an art form, and they had a thing for using vibrant green to make everything look fancy. Cakes, candies, you name it. They dunked it in green dye to make it pop. And that mesmerizing green tint was achieved using arsenic-laced dye. The consequences? Well, they ranged from upset stomachs to more severe health issues. Number 3. Strawberries with sulfur, 18th century. Oh, strawberries, nature's dessert gems that nobody can resist. Way back in the 18th century, strawberries were the absolute rock stars of any sweet spread. Juicy, sweet, stealing the show at every feast. Now, people were so crazy about them that they thought, hey, how can we make these berries even more awesome? And you know what they did? They decided to sprinkle some sulfur on the strawberries. Yep, the same stuff you might remember from your science class adventures. So, at their fancy dinners, these strawberries on the table looked like tiny red jewels. But, surprise, they've got this sulfur dusting to make them look extra fancy. You take a bite, all excited for that burst of strawberry goodness. But hold on, there's this unexpected tanginess, and it's not the fruity kind. Nope, it's coming from the sulfur. And you know what? Inhaling or munching on certain sulfur forms can be a bit toxic and not so great for your health. Number 4. Moldy bread, Middle Ages. Take yourself back to a lively medieval feast, sinking your teeth into some hearty bread. Sounds harmless, right? Not so much when that bread is hiding a sneaky mold that could make you sick. Yikes! Back then, bakers faced challenges preserving loaves without modern techniques, making them prone to spoilage. The hidden mold, invisible to the eye, could produce toxins, leading to nausea and abdominal discomfort. Number 5. Mud cookies, late 20th and early 21st centuries. Mud cookies, also known as bonbon tray or earth cookies, are made from a mixture of mud, salt, and sometimes vegetable shortening or oil. The mud is shaped into patties and left to dry in the sun. While these cookies might be consumed by individuals facing extreme poverty, they lack nutritional value and can pose serious health risks due to potential contaminants in the mud. This practice became particularly notable in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. In Haiti and Africa, extreme poverty led some individuals to consuming mud cookies as a desperate measure to stave off hunger. The consumption of mud cookies is a heartbreaking scene, particularly when observed among communities facing extreme poverty and starvation. This desperate measure, often witnessed even among children. Number 6. Smoked meats with polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, 18th-19th century. Ever wonder how they preserved meats back in the day? Smoking was the go-to, but little did they know it could cook up some not-so-friendly compounds, and suddenly that smoky flavor has a risky side. In the 18th to 19th centuries, people used smoking to preserve meat, giving it a smoky flavor. However, the smoke also contained PAHs, which can be harmful to health. These compounds, while responsible for the tasty smokiness, are known to be carcinogenic, meaning they can increase the risk of cancer if consumed in large amounts over time. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, are chemicals formed when meat is smoked. It was formed during the incomplete combustion of organic materials, such as wood or charcoal, during the smoking process. They are typically colorless, odorless, and exist in solid or liquid forms. So, while the flavor was delicious, there was an unintended health risk in the smoky preservation process. Number 7. Mercury and medicinal tonics, various eras. Take a journey back to a time when tonics were all the rage, promising health perks but sneaking in a not-so-great surprise. The Mercury. In those days, these tonics, often praised for their supposed medicinal benefits, had mercury tucked into their ingredients. Now, mercury is no health booster. It's a toxic heavy metal with serious consequences if ingested. Sadly, folks looking to better their health end up unknowingly exposed to this hazardous element. Excessive exposure to mercury, a toxic heavy metal, can lead to severe health issues. Prolonged contact with mercury vapors or ingestion can result in neurological effects such as tremors and memory loss and more. Pregnant women and young children are particularly vulnerable. So, instead of experiencing health benefits, individuals risk their well-being. And lastly, number 8. Contaminated canned foods, 19th century. Canned goods, convenient, right? Well, back in the 19th century, there was this exciting era of an unexpected culinary gamble happening. Canned goods were supposed to be the game changer for preserving food, but behind the convenience of those metal-sealed wonders was a bit of a risky game. So, there's this guy, Nicolas Appert, a French culinary whiz who came up with an early canning method. At first, he was sealing food in glass jars with wax, not knowing he was setting the stage for a culinary gamble that would define the times. Consider the Napoleonic Wars fueled the surge in canning as governments sought reliable ways to feed troops. The issue, poor seals and questionable preservation methods, turned every can into a potential problem. Think about grabbing a can of peaches, expecting sweetness, but not knowing there might be iffy sterilization. The imperfect seals and preservation methods of early canned goods increased the risk of botulism, a severe illness causing muscle weakness and difficulty breathing. These issues stemmed from poor processing and sealing techniques, making 19th century canned foods a potential source of serious health problems. We've wrapped up our journey through the world of the deadliest foods, discovering ancient dangers and the unexpected effect of adding some sort of substances in our food that can harm our bodies. The big lesson? Enjoy foods, but be cautious. Just like in life, a bit of knowledge can make our life last longer. Before I end this video, I just want to give shout out to my daily supporters and to my new subscribers. Thank you, everyone. Until next time, this is Pretty Nonsense, wishing you happy and safe eating. Bon appétit, my friends.